Okay, let's get this Thursday kicked off with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News. You see us both in our home studios here on this cold Thursday, and a lot of good basketball to recap, especially a game over at Neville Arena last night.
I love anytime we have the show going on. 5 days a week, about 13 or 14 different media, 13 or 14 different platforms. We're all over the place. It's good to have John back after 3 days in the basement. Without, criticizing anybody else, because I love it all. I do. Thursdays might be my favorite day.
Oh,
Might be. I mean, Thursday right now, it's been a tie, a 5-way tie for first place in my favorite day of the week.
sure.
We get people that get excited about every day, and I'm certainly one of them. My man Chris the Bammer says, "Hey, it's Rockin' Rodney Day." That's how he looks at it. Later on,
Sure.
we'll have Rodney or the Tighter Insider. Love me some Jason Caldwell from AuburnUndercover.com. Bart Heisch brings the energy and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So Thursdays promise to be pretty good days, although,
Some people look at it, Barry, to the start of the weekend.
well, they're
But really Thursday, I'd say about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's the weekend started.
well, I used to make the joke, and so did you, that those are called state employees. But I'm a state employee right now myself, so that ain't funny anymore.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
there's Thursdays, we get a lot of different input into it. John and I, this is the first full day where, forget about last week, forget about Auburn's big win at Florida, forget even about Alabama's resounding home win against Missouri or anything. We're looking ahead towards the weekend, except for last night. And John mentioned it. All of this talk before the season or the early part of the pre-conference schedule or the early part of the SEC schedule, where I used to see people when Auburn lost that heartbreaker to Texas A&M that
Oh,
the referees took away from them basically on that
Yeah.
shot at the end.
Mhm.
I saw some X accounts, social media accounts, Twitter accounts, that would say things like Bear Bryant's burner or Bama burner or some of that. They'd
Yeah.
have a picture of country music comedian Minnie Pearl,
Sure.
and they just put that on there.
With the tag on her hat.
Tag on her hat.
Yep.
Auburn lost. Wow. Minnie Pearl, which is what they call Stephen Pearl, the Auburn head
Yeah.
coach. That's
Mhm.
pretty creative, I guess.
It is. I've heard worse.
But
Heard
John-
better, but heard worse.
Now they've won 4 in a row.
Wow.
4
Yeah, look at
straight SEC wins. You guys done went and let Auburn get hot. I told you, watch out. Huge crowd last night. That's the other thing about it. All of those years when I was covering Auburn at Beard Eves Coliseum, and you could look at one of the good sections, with the wooden seats right behind, say, the Auburn bench, and there'd be 200, 300 people here. But you look up in that 12,000 seat arena and over, and there would be entire sections side by side that wouldn't have anybody in it. And I'm down there in press row thinking, man, why in the world aren't people showing up? And then I looked at some of the teams and I thought, that's why. Last night, they have nailed it with Neville Arena. That place was out of its mind yesterday, and it was good.
Well, I wasn't going to bring this up, but you know me. I look at maybe different aspects of a sporting event.
Oh, we depend on it.
I don't
depend on you doing it.
Center my attention on it, but I do take a look. I take a scan. And I've been hearing about this, standing room only, in the rafters, whatever. I saw a lot of empty seats last night.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, they're scanning the crowd. Now, of course, the camera angle is always fixated on the floor. So you're seeing the people that are sitting closest to the floor. And those seats are close to the floor compared to Coleman Coliseum. Coleman's are a mile away from the floor compared to where they are in Auburn. But as they pan the crowd, I would see 4 seats here that were empty and 4
John's
seats
got
that
his
were empty and 4 seats there that were empty. And I'm thinking,
John's got his nose this far away from it. John's going,
yeah.
Oh, there's one.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend who has courtside seats. So every time I see him sitting there, I always get up to the screen to see who he took to the game that night.
Yeah.
He's told me he's taking me, but I hadn't been yet. Last night would have been a good opportunity. But number 4's son was at the game last night. He went over with some buddies, and when he walked in last night, was my first question, how was the game? Did y'all have fun? What'd you have to eat? No, it was, how many empty seats did you see at the game? He said, well, Pops, I did see a smattering of empty seats there inside.
You're like, smattering? Okay. How much is define smattering? I want numbers. I want seat locations. I want potential reasons why those seats weren't there. Ramp lady was sitting there beside, I'll
say it was noticeable. Now, I'm not going to say it was anything, to be concerned about, but I just hear about these, you can't get a ticket. They're $500 a game. Still might be, I don't know, because I'm not buying Auburn basketball tickets. But I did. They panned the crowd. I'm thinking, oh, look at that. 4 empty there. Oh, 4 more there that are empty. Is that 4 more that are empty there too? Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
And I know you can take Wednesday night. It's church night. That used to be the big excuse. Can't go on Wednesday church night.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't want to harp on that, Barry, because obviously I don't want to take away from the huge win, 4 in a row. Bama, Auburn down by double digits at times.
Down by
big 3 at the end of the game because somebody thought they needed to foul the guy. Boy, that was a heck of a minute of basketball. But the second half was very impressive.
I wanna quote 2 things here. Auburn ends up winning. They were down 14, as John has pointed out. They were down 14 at home against Texas.
Yep.
And they end up winning it 88-82. Auburn beats Texas by 6. Texas is not great. They're not ranked or anything. They're now 12-9. Auburn is 14-7. And 5-3 in the league, which puts them in a tie for 4th place.
All right.
Behind Texas A&M, Arkansas, Florida, and Vanderbilt and Auburn and Kentucky are all tied at 5-3. Let me quote 2 things.
Okay.
Number 1, I want to quote Auburn coach Stephen Pearl. Quote, another unbelievable environment, another unbelievable crowd. It makes all the difference in the world. Having a full house gives our guys the confidence and courage to chip away and get back in the game. Our guys hung in there, and we were able to find a way to grind out a win. Really proud of the guys, end quote. Full house, unbelievable crowd. And meanwhile, somebody's 3 inches away going,
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Now, of course, he's not looking at that. Look, the folks near the floor, they're impressive. I mean, they don't, they're making a lot of noise. But he ain't looking at the crowd like I am. Not many people do. What was the next? Because I got something that some quotes I find interesting too.
The other quote from one of the most renowned sports writers of our era.
Yep.
Philip Marshall from AuburnUndercover.com. Yes, this is one of the rare moments when I bring up Philip before John can get to it. Quote, Texas basketball coach Sean Miller must have felt pretty good at halftime on Wednesday night at Auburn Arena. Longhorns had made 8 3-point shots. They led 42-34 and had led by as many as 14 points. They had held Auburn's dynamic Keyshawn Hall to 6 points and 1 field goal. But Hall and Auburn were just getting started. Hall scored 25 points in the second half. Kevin Overton finished the game with 5 3-pointers. The Tigers turned up the defensive heat and won their fourth game 88-82. Even with all that Bruce Pearl accomplished as head coach, including 2 Final Fours, a national championship, and I'm sorry, that's Malzahn. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is the other one. This is the other cut and paste. Even with all that Bruce Pearl accomplished as head coach, including 2 Final Fours, I don't believe he had an all-around offensive player like Stephen Pearl has in Keyshawn Hall. The closest I can remember seeing at Auburn is Chuck Person, and that was 40 years ago. Maybe John Mangelt belongs in that conversation, but I didn't see him play often enough to know. Hang on
Auburn
a minute.
people, do they even mention Chuck Person anymore? Wow. Way to go, Philip. Man.
Do they even John Mangelt? That was in the late 60s.
Yeah, I don't even remember him.
Was
he around when Stan Cabbage was playing?
Gotta be. This guy is the best all-around player in whatever the 50-something years.
Hey, you hearing that, Charles Barkley?
I don't think you need to put that on him, Ricky Bobby. I don't think Keyshawn Hall's a really good player. He may be an early player of the year candidate from Auburn. Yeah. But man, Philip, you don't want to put that on him in late January.
This is what got me. Big win, 4th in a row for the Tigers, and more about Charles Bediako. I shook my head Tuesday night while hearing ESPN talking heads defending Alabama playing G League veteran Charles Bediako. You know the first thing I thought of after I read that sentence? Philip, were you not at the game? The game was at Auburn in Neville Arena. I mean, maybe you were back in the media room eating free food and they had the game on and you heard these people. What? Really? Then he gets on this judge again. He's really on this judge.
Can I quote that?
Alabama booster.
Yeah. Bediako playing has nothing to do with the rules, which clearly say he should not be playing. It has everything to do with a Tuscaloosa judge who is a major Alabama donor issuing a temporary injunction using that same false equivalency, comparing his situation to foreign players and G League players.
Yeah,
and all
they've recused that judge. Another judge will be hearing this when the NCAA can finally get there. Most major airports are open, to my knowledge. So they should be able to get this going. Are you hearing anything differently on that note, Barry? I mean, as far as I know, you can travel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do understand, Barry, that the judge that will be hearing this now, Auburn undergraduate. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So if he extends it, is Philip going to get on this guy's case too? He did go to Alabama Law School, I understand.
Yeah, right.
Went to undergrad at Auburn, went to graduate school at Missouri, and went to law school at Alabama. But he is an Auburn undergrad.
But if you want to know, if you're an Auburn person, I'm not talking about the nation as a whole or Alabama fans. If you're an Auburn person and somebody brings that up for the first time at work or on the golf course or something, and you want to have the proper Auburn response to the Charles Bediako stuff, I advise you to commit that 4 or 5 paragraphs from Philip Marshall to memory.
Yeah,
because that is Bediako, and he points out, he closes by saying Bediako is the first player ever to go into the draft, sign an NBA contract, and return to college. John, if he did indeed write that, sitting up in the top where the media sits at Neville Arena while the game's going on, that's pretty. Well, that's pretty talented.
Yeah, no, boy, you ain't kidding. I'm not real thrilled about Bediako coming back or any of these other guys that I have no clue who they are at A&M and Baylor. I'll be the first to tell you. Personally, I'm not real thrilled about it. I'm not losing any sleep over it. I'll tell you that.
Right.
But I'm not personally, I'm not sure I really like that. But as I've said before, if this ruling goes in Bediako's favor, is Philip going to be jumping on about half the other schools in the United States are going to be doing the same thing?
And I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn did it.
I mean,
if those are the rules, if you can get away with it,
yeah.
By gosh, you don't want to be playing against 26-year-old G League.
What I want to hear is how
without having one of your own.
And Alabama basketball were pioneers, innovators. They were the ones that stuck their foot out there for everybody else in basketball to take advantage of what they're enjoying. Now, those are the kind of columns I want to read. If, in fact, that's the way it goes down, if this guy can ever get to Tuscaloosa. It's interesting. My son drove to Tuscaloosa Sunday after the storm. I mean, he got back to school. This guy.
If I'm the NCAA, get there and get the judge recused, which they did.
Yeah,
they did do that.
Okay.
So,
should they recuse him because this next judge is going to hear him as an Auburn undergrad? I don't want that guy doing it. Oh no.
Yeah.
Don't want him hearing this case.
Yeah, but I mean, the judge, the judge did recuse himself. So evidently that was a win for the NCAA. I don't know because they didn't want that guy there. So and again, all I'm doing is reading that. That's if I'm an Auburn person and I want to have some sort of a response to all my friends who are like, "Hey, Betty, I don't know." If this happened elsewhere, I'm sure Alabama fans would be against it. But I was watching something on TV, a TV clip on social media from a TV station in Birmingham, where they went on campus at the University of Alabama and were asking students about it. And they basically had the same reaction as Josh Harris did yesterday. He said, I don't like it, but if it helps us win, I'm for it. They had Hunter Osborne III or something like that at Alabama, pre-law. And he says, well, I don't really like it, but hey, if it helps us win, somewhere like that.
Brook name.
Yeah. So, I get it. I don't really like it, but if it helps us win, and there's a lot of other people who say, I don't really understand it, but it helps Alabama, so I'm against it.
Yeah.
We're going along university lines right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, got to go down to get some coffee. So what do you say we take a commercial break? At the bottom of the hour, our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, will join us. Mm-hmm. As Barry mentioned, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Yep. And Bart Heisch, our college basketball insider, at the bottom of hour number 2. Also, our River Region Straw chat line is hopping this morning. We appreciate that. So get in on the conversation. It's easy to do. Our River Region Straw chat line.
Well, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. And no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. Okay, about 20 minutes past the hour here on this Thursday, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Also, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends and business associates about what we got going on here. Also, you can check us out on yellowhammernews.com. Video content, a write-up about the show each and every afternoon. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple iTunes, X, Instagram. Check us all out. We really appreciate that. Really appreciate the people that listen and watch throughout the day. We do it live from 7 until 9, but you can watch or listen on your time, on your clock, which a lot of people do, and we really appreciate that as well. I am told, Barry, through my VIP River Region Straw text line, just to throw you some stats out.
Yeah, and you think this chat line is active, and it is? Man, I've sat with John. I'll sit with him tomorrow. He has to charge his phone like an hour into the program because
it's worth it, though.
Yeah.
I'm not just throwing it out there, just, so people will know how the game went. Auburn shot 39 free throws. Texas 22.
Oh.
Whew.
Oh, that's the difference in the game right there. Those 17 free throws shot. Yeah.
Huh.
Ooh, yeah. All right.
Do with that what you'd like.
Yes. And I just did. Hope you didn't hear it. The issues of the day, there are issues out there. And I think this is an issue. This is a huge issue. Ty says, as far as I'm concerned, you guys have beat a dead horse. If the rules allow it, so be it. Don't really understand why you can recruit players from EuroLeague and can't bring guys back from the G League. Well, I don't agree it's a dead horse. I think it's one of the biggest pieces of legislation, potentially, that we've had in the NCAA in a little bit, and we've had a lot of that. The deal is that, Ty, the rules don't allow it. The rules don't allow it for your entire lifetime up until the last week or so. If you signed an NBA contract, you could no longer play amateur basketball in the NCAA. That's the way it's always been up until mid-January in your whole life. The rules don't allow it. And he signed 3 NBA contracts. Those are the facts. That is true. That's not Barry, casting a shadow. That's just the way it's always been. Now, evidently, you can. It's being tested in a court of law, or will be tested in a court of law. But as far as the rules go, the rules say you can't do it. Alabama says, we'd like to try. Bob from Pike.
Why, and I wonder if the rules say you can't do it. And I know the NCAA has their own rules. Obviously, maybe it's not the rules of the law of the land, but wonder why a judge would go against an NCAA rule. There again, law of the land. I guess you're free to go work and play and do what you want to do, and the NCAA is not the law, so to speak.
Right.
I do find that somewhat interesting, but I wish I would have watched what Phillip was watching last night when the ESPN talking heads were all in favor of Nate Oates and what Alabama was doing. I find that a little surprising.
I do too. And of course, Jay Billis, he is all about blowing up the NCAA. It's an interesting contrast because he's the leading, analyst voice in college basketball for ESPN and for the NCAA. And he doesn't like him. And he'll say that he doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Bob from Pike Road's right about this. The NCAA is losing every one of these cases, football and basketball cases, because the NCAA has for decades either failed to uniformly enforce the rules or did so unevenly. The root of their loss of control. All that is true. The reason why the NCAA has been so ineffective in enforcing anything is because of the lawsuits. That's the reason why they don't enforce a lot of stuff now, is because they're afraid of getting sued. All of this, I don't want to get into the weeds too much about the law because I don't understand it all, and it can be really boring sometimes. But the two things that I really don't understand, as far as the G League and the Euro League is, those guys, a lot of them, they don't have necessarily college basketball in Slovakia or Serbia or something. If you want to play after high school, you play in those leagues. And believe me, they don't make a ton of money. They make enough to afford an apartment or whatever. Not that that's the difference. But again, Bediako signed an NBA contract. He left school early so he could go pro, and now he's coming back. Nobody's ever done that before. Nobody. This is the test case about it. The other thing about it is, how's it going to change things? Are you guys for it now because it helps Alabama win, but later on when Alabama's playing against Auburn and Auburn's got, I don't know, Sharif Cooper and Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith playing for them, are you going to like it there? Saying, Auburn,
I wonder, if they're being, I've heard the talking heads comment on it. I haven't heard a lot of coaches around the league. I know, excuse me, Calipari said something about it.
Todd Golden at Florida, he said, it doesn't matter. They can do what they want to. We're going to beat them anyway. Well, they'll have their chance.
Yeah, but I haven't heard any of this, grandstanding soapbox. Oh, this is wrong. This is terrible. I can't believe this is happening. Haven't really heard any of that. And that kind of leads me to believe that, well, we're just kind of hanging around waiting to see how this plays out. Because if it plays out in Bediako's favor, we're going to be doing it too. We're just not saying it now.
I think you are. I think you are dead on. They give
us the green light, boom. We're right. We're doing the same thing.
And believe me, when the green light comes, John, they're not going to be caught unawares. They've got people doing research right now. Okay, who do we have? Sure. What can we do? The other thing about it that makes
they'll be going up and shaking Nate Oates' hand after the game, going, "Hey, Nate, I appreciate you doing that, buddy. Thanks, man."
It's just not really college basketball as we've known it. A lot of people got into it with. The other thing about it that I don't understand is that, it's happening. What? Alabama comes into last week. Let me see if I can do the math real quick. Alabama came into last week having played 18 games.
Wow.
It's not like somebody was academically ineligible in the pre-conference schedule in the fall semester, and he passed all of his fall classes, and now he can be eligible to play starting in January. He's been practicing, or he's been traveling with the team for the non-conference games, and now here he is. This guy wasn't on the team. This guy wasn't associated with the team. This guy wasn't even around. He was maybe going to class in the fall, but all of a sudden you add him to the team 18 games in, add him to the entire roster. That's never happened before, in my knowledge, where somebody comes in, as a savior on the white horse in mid-January and say, oh boy, we're really cooking now. At the start of the basketball season, he was playing G League, wasn't even thinking about Alabama.
And there again, it's just another feeling of professional athletics. We talked about it last week. To me, it's like a late season acquisition. Get in under the trade date. You hear those terms in baseball, basketball, whatever. No more trades after this point. Yeah. No more additions to your roster after this point. And with a guy like Bediako, it's kind of like, okay, we got him in right before the deadline kind of feel. Yeah, there again, I just, personally, I don't like it, but I'm not staying up at night staring at the ceiling talking to myself about it either.
And neither of us
like it.
And neither of us are sure that it ain't going to be the law of the land pretty soon.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
If it happens, we can sit here and lament the whole thing, but if it happens, it's going to change everything. When we come back, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, will join us. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316. Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust. Okay, bottom of the hour here on this Thursday. That means our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us. Jason, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being on with us this morning.
Doing good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing well. Auburn at home yesterday. Men's basketball scores 34 points in the first half, 54 points in the second half. They beat Texas 88-82. How did that happen, Jason?
Yes, Sean Miller said Texas has a virus called fouling, and when you combine that with officials who just decide that, well, we can't control this game, so we're just going to call every foul, then you get to the free throw line a bunch, because Keyshawn Hall can get downhill and get to the free throw line, and he did a great job of that in the second half. And Nathan King did this. I think a stat is like Auburn scored like 86% of its possessions in the second half, whether that was free throws or getting to the line or scoring baskets. They scored on all but like 5 times they went down the court in the second half, which is incredible. So, they just responded to Texas got really hot early. I guess they were 7 of 11 from 3 at one point, and you knew they were going to cool off at some point. But Auburn just they just keep playing, and they did that again last night. Did it in a different way, but it was getting downhill last night, getting to the free throw line and scoring, and that's what they did.
4 wins in a row. I think that's pretty impressive. Even, we look back several weeks ago, a couple of shaky games against Georgia and A&M, but boy, the last 4, they certainly got it going in the right direction. Yeah,
they have. I mean, it's, you kind of feel like you got to steal one at some point, and they did that at Florida. And then you have to take care of business at home, and they were able to do that against Texas last night. It's a talented Texas team who had won 3 in a row coming in, so that they were playing pretty well. But you just have to keep chipping away. It's a basketball season, and you're just going to have some ups and downs in a basketball season. And can you survive those? And can you find a stretch where you get pretty hot? And they've been able to do that.
Philip Marshall at auburnundercover.com noted this morning, he's talking about Keyshawn Hall in the same sentence with Chuck Person, John Mangelt, as far as being one of the best all-around players he's seen at Auburn during that time frame. Agree, disagree? Do you see that at least in some ratio, in some fraction, Jason?
He's, from a scoring standpoint, he's absolutely among the best players in a single season that's ever played at Auburn, in my opinion. I mean, you look at what he's doing. He is scoring at a clip and doing it consistently. 3 30-point games. He's done those things in a short span for sure. In a single season, we went and looked. He's already made 155 free throws in a season.
Wow.
John Mangelt, we looked at, I think his season record for a season is 208. So he's like 53 made free throws away from a single season record. That's the thing. He gets to the free throw line and then he makes them. And that's the difference. You know, a lot of guys, John Broome shot a bunch of free throws. He didn't make a lot of them. He made more last year than he has in a while, but Keyshawn Hall makes them when he gets to the free throw line. And so that puts added pressure on the defense because they know if I foul this guy, it's 2 points.
Yeah, they've got Tennessee on the road on Saturday night, ESPN. John asked the question. I'm going to follow up on that. In the 4-game winning streak that they put on the line on Saturday, is there a commonality in those 4 wins as opposed to some of the earlier difficulties?
It was defense the first 3. Last night's the first night they shot the ball better. They made 11 threes last night. They've still done it without really Tahad Pettiford helping out much at all offensively, which is kind of the good part of this one is that, look, they're still not, clicking on all cylinders when you start talking about one of your best players hasn't played that way offensively. He's done a good job of not turning it over. That's probably been the thing that they've done is protect the basketball. And the loss to Texas A&M, especially, that was the thing that destroyed them was turnovers. And they were in a short span turnovers. Only had 3 last night against Texas in the whole game. They protected the basketball. And when you do that, you're normally going to get yourself good shots.
You mentioned defense. I've noticed that as well, Jason. I think they've played really well defensively over this 4-game stretch. I know there's been some talk about that earlier in the season. Certainly seems like they've gotten that corrected.
They've done a better job of perimeter defense, which leads to better interior defense. Because if you can guard guys on the perimeter, you're not giving up a bunch of layups because you don't have a rim protector. And so they're doing a better job of keeping people out of the lane. Like last night, the Texas big man got some shots in the lane, and they scored more points in the paint, but it was because they had a big doing it. They weren't giving up layups and giving free runs to the rim, and they've done a better job of keeping guys in front of them. And that's probably been the difference.
Jason, you wrote a piece that was posted since last night, overnight, about Alex Golesh talking about bringing in Byron Brown and Cole Best on offense. I get Byron Brown, but him lumping him in with Cole Best is interesting because it makes it seem like, man, this guy is certainly a lot more critical to what's going to be happening on offense for Auburn than maybe people would have thought otherwise, right?
Yeah, no question. You get a 2-year starter at center that does all the line calls, is so familiar with that group and how they have to work together in this offense. And you bring in, his offensive line coach too, and Tyler Hudnick. So you go offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, O-line coach, wide receiver coach, and you bring in really 3 key pieces at all those spots. It's such a big deal. And so we talked to the coaches, and they're like, look, this guy is going to be one of the leaders on this team. And so when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago when he got to campus, and I walked away and thinking this guy reminds me a lot of Ryan Pugh. You go like, this guy's going to be a guy that stands up and says, all right, everybody, this is what we're doing. Having that guy at center is such a big deal. Now he said, look, he's got position flexibility, that he could play other spots, but I find it really hard to believe that if he's healthy, that he's not going to be the guy at center for this team. And you combine that with a guy at quarterback who knows him, they know each other, they know this offense inside and out. It helps to kind of set the tone for everybody else on that side of the ball as you're kind of putting the pieces together.
Jason, there have been a lot of times over the years that we've kind of relied upon your expertise. A lot of times we've caught up with you on the show when you've been on your way to a high school game or something like that. I made a note here from yesterday's show, Jason. We talked with Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth about the AHSAA and their not redistricting, but their reworking of all the classifications. There seems to be a lot of back chat. According to he's getting a bunch of it. Do you like it? Do you like what they've done, or does there need to be something else?
Yeah, I don't think there's any solution where you're going to go, that's it. That's perfect. That's the way it should be done. Like most decisions, you're going to have difficulties doing it when you have so many things involved. And that was the thing about this one. We've seen other states do it where they kind of separate private, public. The only problem with it I see from me is just travel for two schools in close proximity to Auburn. Lee Scott and Glenwood are Lee Scott's closest game in football, if it stays the way it is either going to be American Christian in Tuscaloosa or Briarwood in Birmingham.
Whoa.
That's the closest game they have. Glenwood's, I think the closest game they have is Houston Academy. And then
Glenwood's in Phoenix. Yeah.
And then it's Mobile. So you're talking about two schools that, and for the other people in those regions that are going to have 3.5 hour drives to play a football game on a Friday night, and multiple of those a year. The only problem is there's only two of those schools in those size ranges that are in the middle of the state. Everybody's either top or bottom. So how you separate schools and how you do that. And I've seen some people say, well, we just need to go back to 14 regions or areas and open it up. When you do that, then you're going to have regions where there's teams that aren't as good. I think we're getting, when you have the top four in each of these bigger classification regions, you're getting the best teams in the playoffs. And that doesn't always happen if you go down to 4 sometimes. And so I don't know that there's any way to do this to make it where it feels like it's fair. Don't know how it works dividing public and private. See how it works for 2 years, in my opinion, and then go, okay, is that the way this thing wants to stay, or do we need to go back and rethink this again? I do think that's a possibility, at least anyway.
Jason, a topic that we've touched on several times deals with targeting in college football. I understand there's going to be some more discussion about it. I'd like there to be some more discussion because throwing a player out of the game, I think it's a little severe. And we've talked about it in terms of the NFL. I don't think they have that rule. I mean, I know they have targeting, but I don't think I've ever seen an NFL player being thrown out of the game. Maybe have to sit out a couple of series. I don't know. What are your thoughts about targeting and what maybe will be discussed or what should happen if they do make some changes to that rule?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing because of the severity of the penalty. And the one thing I do know is that I don't think you can put it in the hands of the officials whether or not they think it should be an ejection or not, because I don't trust them to call anything, much less to determine that. It's why I think that, we're just talking about high school. High school still has a inadvertent face mask and a 15-yard face mask. So they still give that determination. I think in college football it's the same thing because all face masks aren't equal. If you brush a guy's face mask or you yank his neck around, it's still 15 yards.
Right.
I wish they would all 10. It's going to look like if you brush it, it's 10. Okay. Take it out of the hands of the officials. I'm all for taking as much out of the hands of the officials as I can, except for I don't want 700 reviews either. That's the targeting part that I don't like about it. Look, call it on the field. It's targeting. It's 15 yards. It's a personal foul. Move on. And we're not going to eject somebody and be done with it. And then if they come back and they go after the fact, listen, that was severe. He was laying on the ground. He dove at his head. We're going to impose a suspension on him. To me, that makes more sense than trying to do it split second, do it in the middle of a game. Look, if that guy's because there are different severities of targeting. You lower your head and hit each other when you're running the football and the guy's coming in, versus this guy's laying on the ground and I'm diving. The old spearing is what I think about.
Right.
If you can say, look, that guy did that and we know he did it, then you can add a penalty. But in the game, 15 yards, move on. I'm in all agreement of that.
That makes sense to me. One more football question. Dallas Walker has not been, I mean, he's bounced around a little bit. 7th year of eligibility for him. Is that a big deal?
It is for Auburn.
Yeah,
it's kind of that thing right now is that we're the reverse of what your mom and dad used to tell you. Where if everybody jumps off a bridge, are you going to jump off a bridge? Well, if everybody's trying to get extra years, you better be trying to get extra years too until they stop it. And so, he played really well last year. He is not a numbers guy, but it reminds me of like Mount Cody a little bit, in that you look and go, his impact on the defense isn't necessarily how many tackles or sacks he has. Thought he did a good job in the middle of kind of controlling things. And so I think bringing him back, and you still have some numbers that you brought in, some young guys that are developing, I think it gives you a guy that can hold up in this league. And so I think it's a big deal.
There you go. Lots of different things going on. And heck, we're 2.5 weeks away. Well, just about 2 weeks away from the start of baseball season, all of that as well. AuburnUndercover.com, Jason. How do people log in?
Yep, can check us out. Like I said, AuburnUndercover.com, part of the 24/7 network. And you can see my decor behind me. We're in a hotel room in Mobile after being in the Senior Bowl practice last night, talking to guys, talking to Alex Golesh down here.
Wow.
We have stories from that coming as well the next couple of days.
I was going to ask you about that because you had a couple of different stories you posted about Alex Golesh, and I knew he was down there. I figured you were down there as well. Good stuff.
Nathan King's got some stories too. And we'll have some recruiting stuff this weekend. Obviously basketball, baseball. So got a lot of stuff at AuburnUndercover.com. Check us out, and all the social media platforms. And find me on Twitter at ITATJason.
That's excellent stuff.
Hey, thanks for getting up this morning with us from Mobile today, Jason. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. We'll talk next week. Jason Caldwell, man, he's everywhere. He's in Mobile for the Senior Bowl. A lot of good comments, a lot of good quotes and stuff from the players that were at Auburn, Alabama, and schools elsewhere.
Golesh was down in Mobile for the Senior Bowl. I didn't see ESPN coverage of him walking out onto the field during one of the practices and having people scuttling around behind him with cameras and stuff like that. Will it ever be the case with Alex Golesh striding onto the Senior Bowl field with all of the attention and respect that other coaches have got?
Maybe somebody will write about that, Barry.
Oh, I think so. If it ever happens.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Yeah, we could certainly see that. Maybe not this upcoming season, but we could see it.
Yeah.
I was reading an article the other day about one of these national football pundits was just raving about the staff that Alex Golesh has put together at Auburn. It's one of the best he's ever seen. Hey, there you go. How about that?
I got to tell you, I haven't heard of a lot of them. Full disclosure, I have not heard of a lot of them at all. Speaking of that, there is something out there at CBSSports.com. I'll try to put a link up on the chat. CBSSports.com from a guy whose name I can't pronounce, Shehan Jeharaja.
Hey, pretty good. Pretty close. Yeah.
And he gives out, this is something that he posted yesterday, CBSSports.com, college football second-year coach grades. Kurt Cignetti, who's in his second year at Indiana, scores off the charts. Kalen DeBoer gets a C. That's the subhead. And they go through all of them, all the schools that have second-year coaches. Alabama, Arizona, Indiana, Boston College, Duke, Houston, Michigan. That guy got fired and he got charged. Michigan State, Mississippi State, Syracuse, A&M, UCLA, blah, blah, blah. And the coach at Michigan gets an F, Sharon Moore.
Yeah.
Gets an F for, he got suspended last year. He got fired this past December, and he was later arrested. Michigan State gets a D. Those are the only coaches out there who have a worse second-year grade than Kalen DeBoer, who had a C+. He read this.
Whoa, C+? What?
It's all you need, right? John would say, done.
C+ is awesome.
Yeah.
But with Alabama football, that ain't going to cut it.
Well, this is what they say, John, and I'm quoting again, guys. Oh, here goes Barry. I'm just quoting. I quoted Phillip. I quoted Stephen Pearl. And all. Now I'm quoting Shahesh Jagdish, whatever his name is, at CBSSports.com. This is analysis of Kalen DeBoer, who's 20-8 in 2 years in Alabama. He says, quote,
20-8 ain't great.
Yeah. He says, quote, there were legitimate steps forward in DeBoer's second season and serious steps back.
Yeah.
The Crimson Tide made it back to the SEC title game and CFP, but are still miles away from the national title contender they were under Nick Saban. With a third new quarterback in 3 years, DeBoer has to find a new identity. End quote.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
They did make the SEC championship game. Got absolutely drilled, but they made it. They did. They made the college football playoff. But Bama fans aren't real happy about that. At least that's the sense I get.
Bama fan doesn't want to hear, well, there are 100 other programs that would love to be 20-8. That's why they're other programs. That's why they're labeled as other programs. No, Bama fan doesn't want to hear that. 20-8. Wow, unbelievable. No. Terrible. You went to the SEC championship. So what? Got embarrassed. Hey, you went to the Rose Bowl. Got embarrassed even more.
People, he was 20-8 in 2 years, and he gets a C+.
C+.
Brent Brennan at Arizona is 13-12 in 2 years. He gets a B+. How the heck?
Barry, I could have sat here all day, and if you'd have said, who is Brent Brennan? I would have said, does his family own a bunch of restaurants down in New Orleans? That's the first thing that pops into my head.
That's a good spot.
I have no idea who Brent Brennan is. Never heard of the guy.
The only reason why I know him is my niece, Georgia, who's she's the daughter of my brother Mike. She's a sophomore at Arizona. That's the only reason I care.
Awesome.
But in other contrast here, before we take a break,
okay,
Indiana, their head coach is in his second year. In 2 years at Indiana University, Curt Cignetti is 27-2. And here's the analysis. Quote, what is the highest possible rating in the known universe? Give Cignetti that. End quote. He gives him, it's like that scene with Ralphie writing his theme in A Christmas Story. He gives him A+. And I think that's part of it with Alabama fans, too. Having a guy who once coached at Alabama go to a place like Indiana University, and in 2 years, they were all that. And they're thinking, well, why can't we do that? They're not only comparing DeBoer to Saban, which you knew, but they're comparing DeBoer to Cignetti, and that may be actually a better comparison, I think. So,
well, there again, it's kind of hard not to. Both been there same number of years, and
he didn't take any excuses, so it doesn't have anything to do with,
not at all.
I wish I could think of a good excuse because, man, I think it's an excuse, and then I see what Cignetti's doing, and he ain't had no excuses, and he just won a national championship. Yeah. Anyway, check it out. I'll try to get it a link posted on the chat.
Yeah,
it's coming up. Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider, will join us. Brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. That's about 5 minutes from now with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, folks, how often do you think about your roof? Probably not often at all. I know I didn't until I needed a roof replacement. And I call my friends at Roof Life. Whether it's roof inspections, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, Roof Life is there for you. They use the highest quality products, top quality craftsmanship, and if you're like me, your roof can be replaced in one day. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, get in touch with my friends at Roof Life today. You can go to roofyourlife.com. That's roofyourlife.com, or dial them up locally at 334-306-6712. That's 334-306-6712.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the bush light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. A couple of minutes to the top of the hour. Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider, going to join us at the top of the hour, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Man, I don't know if y'all touched on this while I was away, but Dabo Swinney not real thrilled with Pete Golding and what's going on in Oxford, allegedly tampering with some of Dabo's players.
What? Tampering?
What? Say it.
And Dabo, he don't care. I mean, he'll call everybody to arms and he'll call people out and all of that. And now it's going to be an NCAA thing, what the NCAA will do. Here's where
that's my point. What are they going to do? I mean, I don't, if Golding's doing something he shouldn't do, okay, the spirit of the rules, but do we really have confidence that the NCAA is going to do anything about it?
Oh, I know. Here's what I think is going to happen. The NCAA is going to come down with sanctions against Pete Golding. There won't be like a death penalty or, a show cause or anything like that. It'll be, 2 weeks where he can't go out on the road recruiting or something like that. And then there'll be a lawsuit and they'll claim selective enforcement because everybody is doing it. 90% of the college football coaches out there are doing it. Dabo doesn't do it much. He's gone transfer portal before, but he doesn't like it. So Dabo's uniquely positioned. There's no question in my mind that Pete Golding did what he did. There was a guy who went to Cal, really good linebacker at Cal, name escapes me, transferred to Clemson. He's at Clemson. He's in class. As a matter of fact, he worked out that morning with the team in the team facility, and he got a text from Pete Golding after the GM at Ole Miss said, "Hey, man, are you committed to Clemson? Have you signed with him?" He said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, good luck to you, whatever." And then he told Coach Golding. Golding texted him. He said, "Hey, what's your buyout?"
Yeah.
I know you signed a contract and everything, but if we wanted to buy out your contract, and he sent him a picture of like a check for $1 million or something like that. Now, that happened. I have no doubt that happened. And Dabo says, hang on. You can't do that, And he mentioned Golding by name and, the scuttlebutt that the Ole Miss GM and the Clemson GM are like besties. And the Ole Miss GM says, look, I'm not going to do anything about this kid because our friendship means more to me than that linebacker that you signed from Cal. But Pete will do what Pete wants to do. And he did. He said, yeah, man, we'll buy out that Clemson contract. If you've only been there a week, heck, man, we can get you a tutor to help you with the classes that you
Yeah.
missed. You'd come over here.
Sure.
And he did. And now Dabo is saying, look, there's tampering going on. And all the coaches out there are going, and so something will happen. The NCAA's got to do something because he has the absolute goods on Pete Golding.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the text. He's got the screenshot of the text. Now, and again, they'll sanction him, and then there'll be a lawsuit, and nobody wants to deal with this. Everybody's like, Dabo, man, you don't want to be doing this because 90% of the coaches out there are doing it. I wouldn't doubt it that, I don't have any facts, but there's a likelihood Alabama's doing it, Auburn's doing it, Florida's doing it, Georgia's doing it, Tennessee's doing it, LSU's definitely doing it. Miami's doing it, and they got Darian Mensah because they bought out his contract at Duke. I mean, it's all that stuff is happening, John. And I know you're being amused by it because you know it.
Sure.
I mean, I know it. We all know it. John treats this mentally like he treats the rumors out there that there is illegal gambling taking place in the state of Alabama.
No way. Really?
What?
Huh? Really?
Are you telling me that people are placing bets outside of Las Vegas and Atlantic City or where? No way. It's the
That's
same
unregulated, thing. Barry. Unregulated. That's the key phrase.
There was a great piece written in Yellowhammer News about that I thought was extraordinarily well written. The punctuation was perfect. The spelling was perfect about that.
It was also at AL.com, just if we're counting.
Yeah.
It was on both media outlets, as a matter of fact. I read that piece too, Barry. I thought it was very well done. But
it's the same kind of a thing. Wait a minute. Are we no longer, all right, just tell me the way I'm supposed, we're no longer pretending that there's no tampering going on? Just along the same lines of, wait a minute. All right, are we going ahead and just blatantly saying that there's illegal gambling going on in the state of Alabama? We're doing that now. We're not all saying, no, never heard of it. Here, ain't happening. It's the same deal. It's going on. It's going on a lot. Nobody ever really acknowledges it until now when it becomes a real issue.
Hey, Rodney Orr, the Tatter Insider. He joins us each and every Thursday, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery. Rodney, how you doing today, my friend? Hope all is well.
Doing well, guys. How about the both of you?
We're doing really well. Glad to have you on with us as always. And I wanted to ask you because we just talked about it a second ago. And, everybody's got their own opinions. We've got ours. You've got yours. There's a piece at cbssports.com from Shihan Jaraja that was posted overnight where he's kind of rating the success and failures of all of the second-year football coaches in Division I-A football. Obviously, in his second year, Curt Cignetti gets an A+++. And the only reason why he only gets 3 pluses is because he didn't have enough room on his line to put 4 or 5 pluses for Cignetti and what he's done at Indiana. Rodney, he gives Kalen DeBoer a C+. Says there were legitimate steps forward in his second year from his first, but there were also some serious steps back. The Crimson Tide made it back to the SEC title game in CFP, but are still miles away from the national title contender they were under Nick Saban. Is all of that fair?
Well, I don't know about the C+, because I mean, that's kind of just subjective, I guess. Yeah, but the other stuff, his comments there, I mean, I think they're fair. I mean, I don't know how else you could really assess it. I mean, there have been some real highs and there have been some real lows. It's just the pattern of inconsistency, I think, that really concerns Alabama fans. I notice on TigerInsider.com, look, we've been doing it for 30 years. You guys have been doing it a long time. When there's a split in the fan base. And right now, there's obviously a split in the fan base. There are some that believe, that Kalen DeBoer is doing a tremendous job. That he inherited a tough situation, which he did. And he's doing a great job. He just needs time. Then there are others that see things that are real concerning to them, and they refuse to believe that Kalen DeBoer can do the job. Then there's a group maybe in the middle that kind of say, I've seen good, I've seen bad, needs to play out. I would say, frankly, to be quite honest with you, I'm kind of in that middle group. I have seen good, I have seen bad. We really won't have answers until this thing plays out a little bit longer. But I do think the one thing that really, for those people who believe that, he only needs time and that people are being a little rough on him, I think the one thing that that group doesn't want to consider is there are some things that are concerning. And when you have a pattern of losses that are just inexplicably bad performances, especially some of them coming off games like LSU in 2024 in Baton Rouge, when you said, okay, they're turning the corner. This team looks good. They look ready. And then you go to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma can't throw a football as well as a 1A wing T high school football team. And they beat Alabama. Of course, they did it on some interceptions, but you get my drift. Yeah. There is a pattern of performances, and we could go through them, but we won't, because you guys know there's been 8 games that they've lost, and it's not all 8 of them, but there are some games that you just say, Florida State, what was this about? Then you get on this roll, and there's a high there with the things that they achieved throughout the course of the season. They lose a game to Oklahoma when they turn the ball over. You guys know about that. That's that happens. But just to lay down, and I know people say, well, we had a lot of injuries. I heard Nate Oates the other night say injuries aren't an excuse. We're putting guys out on the field that we recruited to be capable of playing, or on the court, whatever it might be. But I'm just saying, Georgia had injuries too. And I know I've gotten a little bit long here, but then you see the performance against Indiana, and you say, okay, this team quit around halftime. That's a concern. Now, again, does that mean that I think Kalen DeBoer won't that he didn't make progress? No, he did. I mean, obviously they had they had some success, but I think to have the kind of success that Alabama fans expect, and it doesn't mean a national championship every year. Okay, I understand that. People need to understand that. But at the same time, I think it means consistency in performance and showing up to play and represent the standard better than some of these games that they've shown.
Rodney, a position group we've talked about a lot with you over the years is defensive linemen. Kalen DeBoer down at the Senior Bowl was asked about position groups, and he said he is really fired up about the defensive line and edge rushing position. Would you agree?
Well, I mean, yeah, look, I mean, I would say this. If he's fired up about it, that means he's probably fired up mostly about a couple of the guys they have coming back, maybe London Simmons, Jeremiah Beeman coming back from injury. And again, I'm just kind of throwing some names out here. Yanze Pierre on the outside as a pass rusher, but also those portal guys that they brought in. Maybe Terrence Green on the interior, Kedrick Bingley Jones on the interior. Those are 2 big bodies that they really needed. Devin Tompkins on the outside as an edge player from USC. They had him out of position this year. He's got a chance to be a really disruptive, defensive end type guy. And then also, the kid from South Carolina, they're bringing in Desmond Umeozululu. I guess that's how he pronounces it. I call him Des U.
Yeah.
But maybe those guys are guys that he's excited about, So it could be. I mean, I still think the jury's out until, for me, because we haven't seen, the group. But hopefully he's right that there's reason for excitement.
Was there really anything else that DeBoer could have done efficiently to shore up the offensive line other than getting a new coach there? Was the Chris Kapilovic, was that just had to happen, do you think?
Well, I think so. And, for whatever reasons, it wasn't getting done up front. Now, was it a combination of things? Probably. It could have been scheme. It could have been a variety of things that prevented him, Coach Cap, from having success. I know that someone put out something that, and frankly, it sounded like it came from Coach Cap, to be honest with you. Put out something that said that he did not have decision-making authority on his starting five, nor the rotation that they used during the games, which is telling me that Grubb did, probably.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so Grubb being the offensive coordinator, and then also with his, background in offensive line, he made those decisions, which is kind of, again, to me, I think if your offensive line, if he's going to be the guy that's held responsible for it, then you should give him the right to have input. Now, I know Nick Saban, they tell me that he made every decision, and that's fine. And he ultimately had responsibility for it. But anyway, with that said, I would have to say that, yes, I think a change needed to be made there.
Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, joining us today as he is each and every Thursday, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. The freshest seafood arriving daily. Go check it out at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call ahead, 288-4272. Your order will be ready for pickup. Check everything out there in the display cases. You can take it home or they'll prepare it for you. It's your choice. The Destin Connection. If it's swimming in the ocean, the Destin Connection has it. I can promise you. No seaweed. They do not have seaweed there, so you're not going to get that, or jellyfish.
Kelp.
Yeah.
Hey, Rodney, any other coaches that might be on the move, or you think that's the only one?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm getting a bunch of text messages. Why aren't there more changes?
So
people.
You did get my text messages. Okay, good. I'm glad you got them.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of fans are saying, hey, why aren't there more changes? There should be 2 or 3 more changes. And some of those changes I don't think would be made. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Kalen DeBoer, these are his choices and decisions, and he's certainly closer to it than a lot of us. But if you look at it on the outside, I think fans expected more changes, and we're hoping for more changes. But frankly, to answer your question, I don't know if those are going to come.
Rodney, this feels like big news. It seems like big news. On Tider Insider, they posted that outside linebacker Jamarian Latham will return to Alabama for a 7th year. Is that big news?
Well, I think it is from the standpoint of, Jamarian has a ton of experience. He can add depth to a position that lost Quay Russaw and Noah Carter to transfers. I mean, you're bringing in, obviously you have Pierre coming back. You have Justin Hill, who was a true freshman last year that played a lot. And then, of course, Xavier Griffin, the true freshman coming in, is probably going to get a look there. He may get a look at several linebacker spots. But so you need some proven depth and experience there. And I think Jamarian brings that. Is he a difference maker? No. But I do think that Jamarian can add some of what, I said there with the experience and the depth.
When they take the snap against East Carolina, I believe it is, to start the 2026 season, I know it's early, but your gut feeling of who will be behind center for Alabama?
Gut feeling?
Yep.
Keelan Russell. But look, I say that I like Austin Mack a lot. I thought he did a really good job coming off the bench. Actually, they look better when he came off the bench. I know Ty was hurt, obviously, but I thought he did a nice job in the Rose Bowl coming off the bench, making some throws, and with the lack of the little experience that he has, I thought he handled himself really well. He's hung in there. Look, I mean, we talk about how long Ty Simpson's hung in there. Think about Austin Mack, too. I mean, he came with DeBoer from Washington. He stuck it out for 2 seasons. He's been with them 3 seasons and hasn't played much. He's going into his 4th season with DeBoer and company. So he has stuck it out. I was surprised, frankly, to be honest with you. I thought there was a pretty decent chance we'd see Austin Mack go in the portal. With that said, if he does graduate, I assume he could still, be a grad transfer at some point if he wanted to before the season. I don't know. Again, I don't know that's just speculation. Yeah. But I would say Keelan Russell is the guy that I would right now project as the starter. And I'll say this, John and Barry, I'll step out even further. If one of these quarterbacks isn't the real deal, they could really struggle.
I definitely agree with you on that.
Well,
yeah, I'm with you.
Also, and a good news, bad news kind of thing. The good news is this is the time of the year when you're having junior days. Troy had theirs last weekend. You're seeing it. The good news is Alabama's junior day coming up, scheduled for Saturday, has a lot of really good looking juniors. If there's bad news, it's that it's supposed to be like 17, 18 degrees in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, Rodney.
Hey, it may be colder than that. Could be single digits, which could prevent, as you know, could change some visit plans. But right now they do have, I think there's 4 or 5-star players that are coming in, and this isn't their big junior day. I think they have another one coming up, but Elijah Haven's the number 1 quarterback in the country from Baton Rouge. And listen, I know a lot of people say, well, he's locked up then for Kiffin. Well, they've already taken a quarterback, high school quarterback's really good for next year. And then they also they signed 3 quarterbacks in the portal. So I think Elijah Haven, definitely Alabama might be the favorite. Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, those are among the teams. 5-star wide receiver Munshun Sales from Indianapolis. He's the number 1 receiver in the country, 6'5", 200 pounds. Obviously be a huge pickup. Now his nickname is Bama, and he's originally from the state of Alabama.
There you go.
So, we'll see. Ohio State's in there. A lot of other schools. They got maybe the top offensive tackle in the country, Caden Moss out of Jackson Academy over there in Jackson, Mississippi. I know he's the real deal. They've got the one that maybe the number 1 or 2 interior offensive lineman, Ishmael Kamara from Texas, 6'6", 340 coming in. They've got another top receiver from Georgia coming in, Jaden Upshaw. Again, you could go through the list. JT Williams is from Phoenix City. If you want to talk about a local kid or a state, kid, he's one of the top interior offensive linemen in the country. Could play right tackle. They've got a really good linebacker from the state of Tennessee coming in, Kenneth Simon, who's got some connections to the Tennessee, but it looks like Alabama's in there really strong. So you get the drift. I see a lot of really good offensive linemen, good skilled people. Good linebackers, some DBs. They already have, some good ones committed. Nash Johnson is a really good player that's a cornerback that they have committed. Again, John, I'll say this.
Yep.
Defensive linemen. I see some guys they have that are not rated yet, and they will be. But it's again. I think defensive lineman is, you've got to be able to track those guys.
Yeah, no doubt. What's the feeling around campus about Charles Bediako being on the team after 2 games?
Well, I think it's been, John, that most people say that given that 8 other programs brought in guys that had signed professional contracts that played Euro ball, what's the big deal? He did sign 3 pro contracts with NBA teams, but he never played in an NBA game. Was never really on the team. He played the G League. So what's the difference? Isn't a professional? If you're a pro, you're a pro. If you sign a pro contract, you're a pro. You're considered a professional. And I think what happened just to me, I may be wrong. This may not make sense, but the NCAA has given up ground, and they try to draw a line. And now they're trying to draw a line that, well, if you sign an NBA contract, that's the line. You crossing the line if you're playing now. But I just really, to me, this is obviously something that's going to be decided in the courts, and you're just asking an opinion and what people seem to believe, and the that's what they believe is, why is it that he did something that's really different than what some of these others have done?
Right, and that's one of those fine legal points they're going to try to figure out in court. But I have a lot of the same questions.
Yeah, and we've talked about, Rodney, if it goes Charles Bediaco's way, you're going to have a lot of other schools doing just the same thing that Nate Oates is doing.
That's it's probably a real fear, but it's the direction we're going. And what I guess eventually you're going to have guys that played in the NBA that are going to be coming back, maybe played in the preseason or something, got cut, whatever it might be. That's certainly a fear that this is going to continue to, but I mean, somehow you got to get a grip on it. And I don't know how, and that goes for all of it, whether it's football, basketball, they've somehow got to get a grip on all of this.
Lots of great stuff. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. How do people become subscribers, Rodney?
Well, it's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check, and that gives you all our premium information, but also our all sports forum. That's our community of Alabama fans, and we exchange. We, certainly participate there, and it's pretty active.
Well, also this as well. I think I've told you about this before. I ordered the book and read the book in like 2 days. Bigger Than Bama that Rodney has authored. My only difficulty with it, I just turned around and checked to see if it's on my bookshelf. It's got to be my most borrowed book out there. Hey, Barry, can I read that and everything? You guys need to pick up a copy of that. My personal endorsement. It's not necessarily just football, and it's more than just a biography. It's there's a great message there. I certainly enjoyed reading Bigger Than Bama from Rodney Orr. Where can they get that?
Right. Well, first of all, I appreciate you mentioning that. And it's Amazon. They can go to Amazon, or you can go to rodneyorr.com and you can get it there. Probably get it sooner if you order it through rodneyorr.com. But yeah, either place, Amazon or rodneyorr.com, give you all the details, and you can make that decision and way to order. It's real easy to do.
Yes, there you go. Thank you so much, Rodney.
Yep.
Okay.
Appreciate it
guys.
as always. Yep. Talk to you next week. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. The freshest seafood is always at the Destin Connection, arriving daily, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead, 288-4272, and your order will be ready for pickup. All right. When we return, the Daily Dog. Look at that.
That's coming up. As a matter of fact, there is absolutely not a single reason why you should change the channel or do something else, because not only do we have the Phantoms Daily Dog, but we've also got Bart Heisch, our college basketball insider, and Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland topic wheel. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074.
Man, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Have to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got you, Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokee's under 30 grand or up to 15 grand off. Wranglers 12 grand off and Gladiators 16 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. New Rams 19 grand off or 0% for 6 years. And heavy duties 12 grand off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
All righty, y'all. Thanks for joining us here on this Thursday. We'll be at Stivers CDJR tomorrow doing the show, so we're looking forward to that. Where Price sells cars. Start Something New sales event going on up at Stivers in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road. You can take advantage of that. We'll tell you all about that tomorrow. Also, Barry, Ralph Michaels is going to join us. I don't know if you saw the email he sent us of all of the prop bets. All the good prop bets, I guess you could say. Super Bowl coming. Can you call it that, or you got to call it the big game? What
you can only call it. You have to call it the big game only if you're having some sort of a promotional thing or something like that. Like you can't say, join us for our big Super Bowl extravaganza here at Fred's Chicken Wings Bar and Grill, or you can't do that. It's got to be the big game.
Well, I'm looking at it now. It's he calls it the Wager Talk Super Bowl Prop Guide. So the prop guide. So we'll go over a few of those good ones.
Me and Warren, we talked with him on Friday, and he was hinting about some of the goofier ones, which obviously he doesn't endorse, but also some of the ones where you might do what you want and be glad that you did.
Yeah.
It really kind of sounds a lot like the Phantom's Daily Dog,
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do that. He actually sent it to my personal account.
I haven't
to our long. Okay, we both got it. Good deal. Want to make sure we're both on the same page. Daily Dog. Really? Is it that time of the show? Oh, okay.
Well, it's actually a little bit late. Sometimes, the Phantom is so humble that he's like, well, I guess if you wanted, I didn't want to bring it up, but if you're ready for the Phantom's Daily Dog, I'm ready to serve it up.
And by no means do I want to cut Rodney short. I understand 24 minutes of Rodney today.
Is that short? Is that short? They pointed out 17 minutes of Jason Caldwell. Well, yeah.
Who's clocking this out there? Really? Anyway.
I used to, but not.
Yeah. Well, boy, don't I know. 26 minutes past the hour. I can remember that.
Rodney, that reminds me of the 73 Notre Dame game down in New Orleans. John, and then here we go. And
here we go.
Barry's over here playing tic-tac-toe.
Well, it was an interesting night in college basketball, mainly in the SEC. We talked about Auburn's big win, a down double digits at home, scratch, clawed, pluck and grit. No, that's a different team. And came back and won the game 88-82 against the Texas Longhorns.
Yes. Well, also, don't forget this in the SEC yesterday. In the worst arena in the Southeastern Conference, Stegeman Coliseum.
All right.
Athens, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They were in overtime.
Oh, they sure did.
Georgia had a little over 11 seconds. They were down 3. All right. Down 3. Georgia had it with the basketball, 11 seconds left. Now, I'm not Adolph Rupp or John Wooden or anything, but you know what you got to do when you're down 3 with 11 seconds left. You got to shoot a 3.
Got to shoot a 3.
Am I taking crazy pills here? Well, I talked about this kid before. He's about 5'10". He used to play at South Alabama. Now he's at the University of Georgia. His name is Smurf Millender.
Smurf Millender.
Georgia had the ball a little over 11 seconds, down 3 in OT. John used to hate this. This was a Mark Gottfried special. However, or a Anthony Grant special. However, after dribbling the time down and passing the ball around, it ended up in the hands of Smurf Millender, who inexplicably for Georgia drove it to the basket, laid it in 0.6 of a second to go.
But he was fouled.
No. He just Smurf. There's a reason why they let you shoot that layup with 0.6 of a second to go. Because you're down 3. So he gets the bucket. The final score was, the score at that time was 0.6 of a second to go, was 86-85 Tennessee. And Tennessee inbounded it, game over. Tennessee wins.
They win, and that was in overtime.
Overtime.
Yeah, you get not to take it to overtime, but they were in overtime when that happened. Bear, I hate it for the kid. Really do. But we were catching 2.5 in that game anyway, so it really wouldn't have mattered. I really wouldn't have wanted it to go any further into overtime because funny things can happen. But Tennessee wins the game outright, catching 2.5. That was the Phantom's daily dog yesterday. So we got a winner with Tennessee.
Yeah.
I know what you're asking. That was then. This is now. Who you got today?
Who you got today? Forget about all that history lesson. We want to know what's hot and heavy today.
Well, we're going to go to the association tonight.
All right. It's been good to the Phantom, other than the 76ers.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Well, we had the 76ers last Friday. That was a big winner.
True.
This game is in Chicago, which I understand is extremely cold as well. The Chicago Bulls hosting the Miami Heat. I don't know how much heat they're going to get in Chi-Town.
But both teams kind of putzing around. They're not terrible, but they're not good. They're both around 500. Both.
Miami's 25-23. The Bulls 23-24.
Yeah.
Bulls game losing streak. I guess I should put it this way: Miami dropped their last game. They're on a 1-game losing streak.
A 1-game streak.
Yeah. So they're pretty close there. Not a lot of difference between these two, but the big factor is the Chicago Bulls are playing at home, catching 1.5 in the game tonight. Love a home dog. We're going with them tonight. The Chicago Bulls plus 1.5 hosting the Miami Heat. That is your Phantom's daily dog.
We'll kick off a very eventful final half hour of our live show with our college basketball insider Bart Heiss next with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 26 minutes to the top of the hour on this Thursday. We bring in our college basketball insider, number 22 from Mississippi State's Final Four team, Bart Heisch. Bart, how you doing today?
How are we doing, gentlemen?
Doing good. Yesterday we had on Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth, who's been getting a lot of crud about the redistricting of the AHSAA. Go, Bart. Do you like it? Do you don't like it?
I do not like it. I don't like it from the standpoint of I don't think, especially in today's climate, whether it be politically, whether it be sports related in high school, I think two things can be true at the same time. Okay. And I understand Will Ainsworth's point 100%. Look at the basketball rankings right now. There's at least 3 private school teams, 4 in some cases, between 2A and 4A. That's where your issue lies. 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A.
Right. Okay.
That's where all the Winfields of the world can't win state championships. And they moved the baseball fence in 15 feet. Now, that's a true story.
Yeah.
So that's my issue with the public schools. It makes it easier for them to win. Yes, people fighting together. If you just kind of look at the history of where a lot of people have history and what's happened, I get it. I understand it, but we just went to be in Mississippi. It's what we did because this is how they've been doing it for a long time. And my concern is high school kids are already not getting recruited. What if you're a private school kid in Southeast Alabama and you're already not getting recruited?
Yeah.
You play a private school. You think you're going to get recruited now?
Yeah, like somebody like Houston Academy down in Dothan.
Or Providence.
They're going, or heck, Dothan High School.
Tuscaloosa Academy, Lee Scott Academy. These schools that have
Glenwood
fought
Academy.
to get here.
Yeah.
So I understand Will Ainsworth's point. At the same time, I understand the public aspect of trying to appease everyone where things I think can be beneficial to your viewpoint, if that makes sense, and what your belief is. That's what this is. I mean, in both sides, I just think in the long run, it's going to really make private schools big, like in Georgia. So in Georgia, what they do, 3A and below, maybe 4A, but I think it's 3A and below, they all play separate. Private schools play up to like 3A, separate from public. And then everybody plays together. Because the problem lies in the small schools competing against Prattville Christian, Trinity. But here's my point to the people in to these public school people. If Blake Smith and his amazing teams and amazing daughters at Trinity, if he would have been coaching at a public school, what's the difference? You know, everybody's recruiting, and the only people that are yapping about it are public school people who ain't. This has been going on for years, man. We can keep it real or we cannot. So I will be a voice of reason on this to just say, hey, guys, it wasn't that bad the way it was. We're just going down a rabbit hole here. John Longshore, when I was growing up in Northwest Alabama and Barry McKnight, I was told always it was just a coined phrase, okay? And this is ironic how my life turned out with this. Well, thank God for Mississippi. Thank God for Mississippi. We'd be last in every category. And we're copying Mississippi.
Yeah.
So, and they've been doing this for years. I just think you're opening a can of worms that you didn't have to open, really. And I think you're going to, as Will Ainsworth said, diminish the competition. It's going to be easier to win state championships for public schools and private schools for that matter, but it's going to diminish what the private schools are playing for.
Right. Correct.
So I think two things can kind of be true, but I commend Will Ainsworth for standing up. He played public school, transferred to a private school. His kids go to a private school. I've worked his kids out. I like Will. stand up what you're passionate about and let's hash it out and see what the best option is, you know? But I do think it's going to take away from the HSA tournament. I do. And, you know, I may be but I just, you know, but we're going to make it work. The HSA is, you know, is a well-run, very established organization that has made a lot of good decisions over its time. It is still to be determined if this is and was a good decision or not. And I'm willing to roll down that path. I'm just saying, when I look at other places, when Georgia, Mississippi, that, it's a bigger mess than what we have. That's all my point is.
Auburn's down double digits at home at Neville Arena, comes back, wins the game, beats Texas, their 4th in a row. What's been the big change with Stephen Pearl's team?
I mean, they're guarding. I mean, they really guarded Florida. And they're turning people over because they've reached a different gear defensively. They turned Texas over a lot last night, especially in the first half. That game could have been a 15, 20-point game in the first half, the way Texas was shooting. I think they made, 7 threes in the first half, and that was uncharacteristic. And then you saw old Neville Arena take over, like it has, like so many different times. I like the way Pettiford's playing. He's not shooting them out of games. They're getting good possessions. And I think that's been a focus on the half-court end, is to make sure we get a good look here. And a good look pretty much is every time somehow what's my guy's name? I always forget his name. The left-handed kid that's so good.
Keyshawn,
not Murphy, not to be confused with Murphy, but Hall.
Keyshawn Hall.
Bro, I'm good with him in a one-on-one situation, especially going downhill left. I mean, he's going what we used to call, hey, guys, he's going left. No. He's going left. No, He's going left of left. You can get immediately 180 degrees to his on that side and try to make him go. He's still going left.
Yeah. So you're saying I need to kind of guard the right side and keep him. You don't need to guard the right side at all, is what I'm saying.
Hey, Barry, I would sit on his right knee MCL. That's where I would sit on.
Because he's going left.
Excuse me. Left on my right side, but it would be his left knee, to try to force him right. But no, man, I think what Steven's done is he found that BP Bruce Pearl energy. You know, and that had to probably come from a lot of the assistants. I think they challenged this team. I actually know they challenged this team before they went to Florida. And they've responded, and they're right there in the mix now. That Texas basketball team is better than their record in the SEC. They lost a couple of those games early, one including Mississippi State at home when they gave up 100 points. Texas is a good basketball team. That's a good win for Auburn last night. You got to be proud of what Stephen's doing.
Mm-hmm. All right, Alabama, since the last time we talked, they got beaten with Charles Bediako at home against Tennessee. They're not super terrific at home, even though they boat raced to Missouri on Tuesday. Alabama's not been healthy yet. When they're healthy, do you like them?
Top 5 team in the country.
Wow.
When they're healthy, they're a top 5 team in the country.
With Bediako. You said with Bediako.
With Allen.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Amari Allen. Okay.
Allen's other than Phylon, Allen's the highest level pro on that team. Period. And he actually might have a higher upside. I know that sounds crazy. Allen's really good, y'all. The rebounding is just astounding for a freshman. And I think you'll see that as they continue throughout the season. Talk to Richard Hendricks, former Alabama grad.
Yeah.
We talked about the AHSAA. He gave a great perspective the other night and on our show about, he was an undrafted, or actually he was drafted, but he was an underclassman and then didn't play in the NBA and then went. So he's lived through this Bediako thing, except he went overseas. And we talked about just like the game aspect of what Bediako is going to bring. Y'all are about to see Phylon go crazy on the assist level.
Okay.
Because Bediako understands the timing. Barry, you know how many ball screen? Well, you don't see many of them against South Alabama. I don't, because South Alabama plays zone all the time.
That's right.
But the ball screen action is not always about the ball handler. It's about the yin and yang of how we can go back and forth in like a symmetry type 2-man orchestra to where I understand your timing, you understand mine, I understand your strength, I understand the weaknesses of the defender. All of that is able to be processed now by Bediako because of the speed and power and athleticism and knowledge now that he has from playing at that higher level. It's basically like if 1A's Scottville in Marion County High School that's won the state championships that might win another 1A girls this year. Speaking of HSAA, it's amazing. This may be the best team he's had. He goes up and plays 6A's and they're 10-10 at Christmas. And then they drop back down and play 1A's and they destroy people, at times. We've seen small school teams do that. It's the same way with Bediako going up to the levels and then coming back down and playing against post guys and guards that haven't guarded at the level that he's been able to play at. Phylon is about to go crazy now. Their timing the other night was exquisite when it comes to, if you really break down watching ball screen film. I broke it down and went back and watched it after Richard was talking about it. Phylon special coming off a ball screen, guys. He's a lot better creator than he's been given credit for. I think you'll see Alabama really exploit that with Bediako. Okay.
I've heard basketball analysts in the last 12 hours use exquisite and gorgeous in describing college basketball. I like your vocabulary there. Your adjectives are really good today, Bart.
It's the players doing it, bro.
Yeah,
literally, Phylon off a ball screen is special.
Well, to make sure I keep an eye out on that.
Players are doing freshman players. I mean, Keaton Wagler from Illinois, AJ DeBanza, the kid from Tennessee,
Anderson from Kansas.
Those guys, freshman guys are showing out. It seems as always the high level guys, the getting your feet wet, it just figuring out the game doesn't seem to take them very long. The transition.
I think they're so prepared now is the real point. They can go on YouTube, these trainers. The level that you can work out and get better. It's kind of like relationships. Back in the day, John, you'd call a girl up, it'd take you 4 or 5 times. 4-month span to talk to her on the phone. Well, now you've done out a 3-month relationship in 10 texts.
Yeah, no kidding. Plus, you had to get through Daddy because Daddy answered the phone. Yeah, hello, Mr. Smith. Hey, how are you doing?
Bro, you knew what time his favorite shows was on, John.
Come on, bro. Is Susie home? You had to go through the dad. Kids.
No, back in the day before calling.
Yeah. I'd call local man. The busy signal would be coming up all the time. Come on, man. Get more lines. All right, so I remember David Hobbs took an Alabama team over to Beard Eves years ago and got beat by 47 or so.
94-40. It was 54.
54. I was close. How in the world does a South Carolina team lose by, I know it's Florida, but lose at home by 47? How does that happen?
Ooh.
Their coach is done. LSU and South Carolina will be open. Last night proved that.
Yeah, State wins in Baton Rouge.
The LSU loss, the way they lost, was a lot worse than Florida, just because Florida's one of the top teams in the country. And, South Carolina's been kind of trending. They've been kind of nicked up, and they just cannot get over the hump. They haven't been able to. I got to Cox by 90 is my really good friend, Jeff. He's a big Hall's Chop House guy up in Columbia. And he's at every game right there next to the bench. And it's just frustrating, and that's why I think, seeing Chris Jans rally that team last night and just throttle from the beginning. That game was never close in Baton Rouge. It's disturbing at South Carolina. South Carolina and LSU are not that bad of jobs in today's climate. I got asked the other day on a show in Shreveport that thinks I know something about basketball. And I said that the LSU job I thought was the top 20, top 25 job in the country right now. And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. But why can you not win at LSU in basketball like Florida or Alabama?
Yeah.
Or these Auburn.
Dale Brown surely could do it.
He could. And it went downhill from then. And Will Wade could. It's Florida. There's 2 teams in this league, and I'm gonna tell you somebody else. And I'm not always huge fan of the entire program, and sometimes and the leader for that matter, which is probably unjustified. by the way, but I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Florida can absolutely engulf you on the interior. Tennessee destroyed Georgia last night on the boards at home.
Yeah.
And that's why they won the game. And it had some shot making. And obviously you talked about Smurf earlier. And that
Former
was just,
South Alabama Jaguar. Yes.
It just happens like that. And man, and kudos to Smurf for like how hard he worked. He was not that player his freshman year at South. He couldn't shoot it. He couldn't finish it on either side. He's gotten to the jump stop. I mean, and that's that Houston game. I know some guys out there that teach all that stuff. Trey-Mo. But point being, I'm those jobs are going to open. It doesn't surprise me that much. That is what you see at home from a team that quits. They've quit.
Yeah.
Ooh, Bart Heisch, you'll be in Mobile tonight for ESPN Plus, Coastal Carolina against South tonight.
I will. Coastal Carolina's won 5 in a row. Barry, when's the last time you've seen a team make their first 9 shots in a game?
Ooh.
And 5 of them 3-pointers. I have not seen that. Coastal did that against Southern Miss. I was prepping, and I was like, I mean, this looks like Longshore out there in the church league.
No
just
doubt.
giving it to people, in different flavors.
Right over Doc NBA every time. Just going in.
By 18.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Bart. We do appreciate it. We're out of time. Thank you for
how do we
joining
catch
us.
us at High Shoops 22?
Yeah, well, you catch me on Twitter at BHYCHE, BHYCHE22, and then at BHYCHE _ on Instagram. But there is also an at Heights Hoops Instagram that you can follow, and everything flows to there.
There you go. Appreciate you,
Thanks,
Bart.
See you next week, my man. Thank you, buddy. Bart Heisch, our college basketball insider, joining us here today on the program. Always love his input.
Great. Yes. Also, the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel is coming up with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, there it is. It's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It is ready to go. A lot of pretty colors on the wheel. Topics, we have no idea what these topics are, folks. We're seeing them for the first time, just as you are.
Yeah, Warren was mentioning. John loves the colors. John will always mention the colors. He's a big colors guy. Let's go to it. Brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. We have no idea what any of these are, although a couple of them do kind of pique my interest, including Fat Trick.
Fat Trick.
Fat Trick. This is not Patrick. This is not Hat Trick. This is Fat Trick.
Yeah. Is this Patrick Cantlay? I think he's coming back.
Oh, it's got to be Patrick Reed. Yeah, Patrick Reed is really good golfer, kind of a jerk.
Does anybody want him back on the tour? I mean, who invited this guy?
Koepka is coming back. I think this week is his day. Starting, as a matter of fact, today, Koepka is back.
Torrey Pine.
Patrick Reed. He wants to come back. They don't necessarily like him. He's kind of a jerk.
Kind of a jerk.
And unfortunately, the title that Gurn Jr. picked for that topic wheel is his nickname, because Patrick is slightly pudgy.
Plump. Yeah, he's chubby.
Sometimes it does pay just to be a good guy.
Yeah.
He has been, in many different instances, a public relations liability when he was on the PGA Tour, because he snaps at people, he's mean to fans, he's kind of a jerk to the media sometimes, and they don't like that. You know, it reminds me of when Steve Carlton was a pitcher in the major leagues for many years, Hall of Famer, and he would never speak to the media. But late in his career, when he lost the fastball and that fabled slider was, all of a sudden he'd start talking to people in the media whenever he was just hanging on in the major leagues. And somebody
Funny how
says,
that happens.
somebody says, looks like Steve Carlton is learning how to say hello when he needs to be saying goodbye.
Yes.
That's kind of like Patrick Reed. You know, you should have learned to say hello. Now you're faced with
No, Barry,
saying
someone
goodbye.
once told me it doesn't cost anymore to be nice.
That's right. Same deal.
All right, let's spin away. See what we got here. 5 more remaining on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
No, it wasn't Cam Newton who said that.
Yeah, that wasn't. I believe you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Back at
Red, yeah, we're spinning away. Let's see what we got here. And it's going to land on green.
I think, yeah, kind of. There we go.
There it is.
Oil.
Green.
Pruned up.
Pruned up. Huh. Pruning your bushes, your
Or
shrubbery.
just you're too soaked and, you know, your skin prunes up. Capybara. There is a capybara contest. Capybara is basically, it's a big rat. And I mean, it's big.
Yeah.
They're big in zoos because they're big, they're interesting looking, and they don't do anything. It doesn't take anything. You ain't got to exercise them or something like that. Outdoor bath. This year's winner stayed submerged, and the bath is hot, by the way. It's in Shibuya, Japan, which has a lot of hot springs. That dude right there, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Is that lemons or is that anyway?
Grape yellow. Huh.
Yeah. That capybara, whose name is Prune, probably because Prune's skin gets wrinkledy, because 1 hour and 45 minutes, I could totally do that. If I didn't have anything else to do,
how about
I
it?
could sit in hot water for 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Now, it's the cold water that's a little different. I've told you about those
I
cold
can't handle
plunges.
that.
I've done a few of those. It's the first 45 seconds. If you get past the first 45 seconds in the cold plunge, you can handle it.
Yeah. Couple of things. Troy has a cold tub. It's on the second floor at the football stadium. And there's 2 things. Number one, ain't nobody can, I mean, that thing is cold.
It is cold.
Not me.
Yes.
Number 2, take a shower before you get into the cold tub. You know, don't come in after a jog or after a workout and you're sweaty and just hop into the cold.
You know, the water does circulate, allegedly. See, I like to be hot and sweaty and get in the cold plunge. Barry, alligators won't eat capybara. I did not know that. Alligators won't eat them.
Well, now that you do, it doesn't really change our outlook on life.
No, that's what Plainsman Preston tells us.
Well,
they are an agricultural school over there. He would know.
Yeah.
All right, let's spin away.
I probably wouldn't either, to be honest.
If I see that in you, I'm passing.
See if we can get that. We've had some issues with Gurn Jr.'s
he's in
ice
Nashville.
around his home, and so we may not be able to get the. Here we go. Here we
go. Yeah, I know some friends in Nashville, Bear. They basically moved back to Montgomery for a week. No power.
Blame them.
It's tough. Nashville got hit pretty hard. All right,
let's go. I got to get
Bama. Oh, here we go.
Yes. All right.
Ooh.
Oh, this may go up to big bucks. Where do we? Yikes! We may be stuck.
Yeah, could be stuck in skiing in Bama. That's Cloud Mount, I believe, is the name of that facility near Mentone. If you want to go skiing in the state.
Yeah, that's always the place. It's always like the coldest place.
Yeah, I guess that's still a thing. I'm not sure if you can still do that, but I do know at one time you could.
Well, we may have frozen up on the on the topic wheel, so we
we'll jump in that tomorrow.
Yeah,
as we're broadcasting from Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville. The Start Something New savings event for 2026 is going on there in Prattville, so we'll be telling you all about that along with everything else that's going on. Ralph Michael's going to join us as well. Barry, some prop bets for the upcoming big game.
Yeah,
a week from this Sunday.
That's right. And again, it's going to be on NBC, 5:30. That's my guy, Chris Collinsworth, and Mike Tirico, who I got to meet over the summer. Many, many thanks go out to our guest today, Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com. I was about to say an extended visit with Travis I'm sorry, with Rodney Orr at TiderInsider.com, but it's about average in terms of length of visit from Rodney. Brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Also, since he brings that up about capybaras, the cold weather is not great for the crawfish. The crawfish burrow deep down in there, and you can't hardly get them out of the ditches. That's why they may not have a ton of crawfish at the Destin Connection, but they got everything.
Well, they do. And think about your Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
Make sure you get all your seafood and all your food and hors d'oeuvres from the Destin Connection. We'll be telling you more about that next week as you get closer to the Super Bowl. But, hey, be thinking about it because they can get it all prepared for you.
Destin Connection Seafood Market, Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery. Also, thanks to Bart Heisch, our basketball insider, and thanks to our producer, Gurn Jr. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.